Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of Tech Podcast. Myself, Ram, and joining me today are my friends Gokul and Priya. Together, we're going to discuss about the governance of Copilot. Gokul and Priya, would you like to have a quick intro?
Yeah, thank you, Ram, for inviting us to the podcast. I'm Gokul, working as an M365 solution architect in Tesco. And thanks again for the invite. And over to you, Priya.
Thank you so much, Ram and Gokul. This is Priya. I'm working as an M365 architect with I Square Tech Solutions, and thank you for inviting me for this podcast. And also, I'm eager to share my knowledge. Thank you.
I mean, great having you both here. Before we dive in deep, right, I thought it would be good to have some basic understanding of what Copilot agents are. Gokul and Priya, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely, Ram. So, agents are a AI-driven tool that can be used to perform various tasks like automating repeated tasks, providing insights, suggestions, solutions, and much more. And what can agents do is agents can enhance the Microsoft 365 Copilot experience, allowing you to personalize it to your specific needs. So one example is you can create an IT help desk agent that answer customer questions by pulling information from connected knowledge base. So how can someone access these agents? So agents are available on the Copilot app in Teams and also on the Copilot chat in the web. So users can either create a new agent by selecting create agent option or make use of the available agent by selecting get agent option. So to access agents, user have to have a Copilot license enabled, and licensing is another topic which will be covered in our upcoming podcast. So Priya, would you like to add more about types of agents and its use case?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Gokul. That was quite informative. Recently Microsoft launched a website where they spoke about a lot of agents which are available, right? Some of the notable things are procurement agent and healthcare MDT agent, and as you told, the help desk agent. So, what these agents do is that primarily it helps the company in assisting the start to end of the process, so everything is automated, right? Let's say there is an agent called cloud operations agent. So what they do is they work based on the service level agreement, so how the responses are being given. So if there is an incident happening or if the issue is occurring, based on the SLA, the responses are made by the agent. And the interesting thing is that with respect to the help desk agent, like let's say if the customers are reaching out to the countries, like I mean companies, like to ask for any solution, for any assistance, these
Mhm.
agents give effective response based on the SLA. And also there are other notable agents like business travel agents, or some of the agents in the government, public sectors, and store sales agents. So all these form together and
Mhm.
they are very effective. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, and I feel that these agents not only help the companies, but also there are it is like readily available agents, or you can customize it. Yeah. So I closely work with the customers where they create
Mhm.
a lot of agents, and it's very effective as well.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent introduction, right? And it should really clarify things for anyone who's new to this topic. And real time examples are always great. So thanks for that, Priya. So, I mean, from my end, just to summarize, like agents are like two different types, right? So one is personal agent, another one is shared agent. So personal agents are tailored to individual users, helping them with their day-to-day activities, right? Like email management, data
Mhm.
analytics. Whereas shared agents could be something like designed for team collaboration, project management, document sharing, communication, those kind of areas. Where Microsoft call it as declarative and custom, right?
Mhm.
Whereas a declarative is more like templates, what Priya touched base on, where it's easy to spin up with the templates which is already available. And the custom ones is where it gives you the, I mean, luxury of putting in a lot of workflows on top of it, right? And it can be easily customizable as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So thanks, Ram. You have very well summarized it. So now it's time for us to talk about Microsoft Studio and its impact to the organization. So Priya and Ram, what do you think about Microsoft Studio?
Yeah, so Microsoft Studio, it's basically a low code platform, right? So what it does is it allows users to create, customize, and also manage AI powered copilots like chatbots or virtual assistants, right? So let's think of it, it is like a chatbot builder that is basically powered by AI. Okay, so the very good thing about this is that you don't need to have a deep coding expertise to do this. So as a architect, like as I've worked, though I've worked with Microsoft, I don't have any coding knowledge, so even I can create my own chatbots and agents using Copilot Studio. And some of the key features I would like to include is that it is a low code bot creation, and also it is a customizable. So based on your company's requirements and responses, you can create the new AI assistants. And the good thing is it can be integrated with Outlook, SharePoint, and Teams, and also certain tasks can be automated via Power Automate and Power Apps integration. So the notable thing is it's a multi-channel support. So you can either deploy it in web, Teams, WhatsApp, message, so wherever it can be, and it is secured as well. So in real time, there are a lot of agents which were developed by Copilot Studio. Some of the notable like customer support automation or HR and employee assistance, and we spoke about IT. So all these things are can be created via Copilot Studio, and since it is seamless integration, though the licensing part and everything is quite different, but still the major thing I would say is the how it can integrate. It's just like a drag and drop, right? So it's not required for you to have the code. So what do you think about this, Ram? Like have you come across Copilot Studio with any of your clients, and what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that is a good one, Priya. So just to add on to what you said, right? Like data connectors, like when you touched base on integration, so I would like to say data connectors are something really key here. I think Microsoft comes up with close to 1,500 pre-built connectors to integrate with various data sources, which is both Microsoft and non-Microsoft applications. And as you touched base on multi-channel deployment, right? Recently, we came across a situation where we created a studio agent, right, and then it integrated with an ERP system, and it was used for booking holidays, and all this happened like within few minutes, right? Like it's more about the thought process of what you wanted to do, and then studio gives that access to deliver that. So we were able to book a holiday with the help of an agent which integrated with an ERP system on the back end, and then it also helped in checking pay slips, right? So rather than user logging into that application and then navigating into that particular area where they wanted to look into this details, agents does these things in a bit of clicks, right? And then on top of it, we were able to do some power automations as well, like as Priya mentioned, where uh, part of this whole activity we were able to book a holiday and then set an out
Hmm.
of office reply, and similarly pull a pay slip and then send out as an email to the colleague who was looking for that. So this is like a great example of how you can bring in multiple systems like both Microsoft and non-Microsoft. And another easy win which most of the organizations going today is with the studio agent bots, where you
Hmm.
can have a SharePoint site on the back end, right? So most of the organization have a dedicated SharePoint site with policies, HR informations and stuff, right? And people always have this tendency to call a help desk or log a ticket to understand what the policies are. And I think agent solves that within minutes, where you can just build an agent, have a SharePoint on the back end, look out for the policies. All that I need to know is like keywords or basic prompt engineering skills to get the details from the back end. But one key thing which I wanted to highlight is the licensing, right? Because
Hmm.
uh, it depends on how what kind of a rollout that you would like to do for an organization. Say your organization is too big and you don't want to get into M365 Copilot license for everyone, then I would say Studio is a better option, where you can build an agent. As I mentioned, you can even package that, and something which Priya touched base is multi-channels, right? So you can package it, bring it into a Teams or a SharePoint, right? It's easily accessible for everyone, and it's predominantly works on capacity-based license or pay-as-you-go model,
Yeah.
right? Which might be suitable for a bigger organization, but when you have a smaller organization, you have, I mean, privilege to give M365 Copilot license to everyone. In that case, then probably you can go with building an agent, publishing it into Teams, right? People can see all that agents build it in your organization within the Teams portal itself. So that gives a luxury too.
Yeah, great. Yes, Ram, you are right, right? With respect to licensing, it's a huge topic which it would be better if we cover in our future podcast, and I'm eager to talk more on that. Look, like you said, there are few Copilot subscriptions, like the standalone Copilot Studio subscription on the tenant level, and Copilot Studio on the Microsoft Teams, or the Copilot Studio on the in user level, right? So with
Yeah,
which can be integrated with M365 Copilot. Yeah, that's good to know, and we will definitely be covering the all the because that's a bit confusing for the customers, because they always come up with the question, "Hey, Priya, I have a lot of subscriptions available, but how can I decide on which license to purchase and which is useful for us?" So it's a good topic to cover. We can think about in a future podcast. Thanks, Ram.
definitely.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, it's amazing to know about what about Microsoft Studio and what it can do. And one thing which I really liked with from what Ram mentioned is um, it helped them to automate the holiday booking with out of office enabled, right? So most of us, what we do is we book our holidays, but sometimes we forget to set the out of office, and the moment we get a message in Teams or a email notification in phone, then we realize, oh, sorry, I'm in leave, I forgot to set up my out of office. Then we rush to do it, and in case if we don't have our laptops with us, anyways, we have an alternate device to do it. So good, Ram, that was very interesting to know. And as someone without a developer background, right, I would have never thought I could create my own solution just by using logic. So thanks for the information, and thanks to Priya as well for sharing her experience.
Sure. Thanks, Ram and Gokul. So, the next segment I would like to talk about is the most important and the most relevant topic, which I can see people are talking about, is security and governance, right? So, yeah, security and governance itself is a separate topic which involves a lot of data protection and safe AI interactions. And with respect to Copilot, people always have a question like how secure it is, right? Because what they
Hmm.
think is the Copilot is like we have access to the data, but how secure it is. So, what are your thoughts on this, Ram and Gokul?
Yeah, it's a very important topic for administrators to know about governance, controls, and security, right? So, as you mentioned, Priya, it's a huge topic, but let me just cover the basics of it, like what controls that we have got within agents. So, agents can be controlled in different ways. Copilot extension settings in Microsoft 365 Admin Center can be used to allow agents to all users or set of users. You can define it with who can have access, who should not have access to agents. And the other option is to use the integrated app settings in the M365 Admin Center, which will allow you to enable or disable an agent and also helps you to manage access to a specific agents, right? So on top of that, integrated app setting also helps IT administrators to allow block shared agents, and it also helps admins to review the agent's metadata before making agents available. So a point to note here is all these controls does not govern SharePoint agents. So Ram, would you like to add around controls on the SharePoint agents and Microsoft Studio?
Yeah, sure, Gokul. I think one major thing with agents or with AI is the responsible AI, right? It's how you ethically build and have some transparency, right? And that's where most of the organizations, right, like they are in a dual mind whether to step into AI or should they wait for, I mean, more controls to come in. So from our point of view, as you touched base, there are a lot of controls which is coming up with agents. And with regards to SharePoint, right, I would say the predominant thing is site permissions, not only related to agent, but for the rollout of Copilot, the SharePoint site permissions is pretty key, because the more secure in terms of file permissioning and the controls that you have on the site level, it's going to have a major impact in terms of your Copilot rollout. And the recent rollout of advanced analytics report as well is going to help us with in terms of pulling up reports for permissions, I think, which you can actually utilize it for better governance, because the basic reports doesn't give you like who has access to like site level permissions or file permissions, but that's where you can utilize the advanced analytics report. And sensitivity labels, right? It's pretty key. Like organizations and admins will keep pressing upon this particular topic, right? Because the more labeled documents, the better it is for the organization in terms of security as well as for the Copilot adoption. uh, and in terms of scoping, right, I don't know how many organizations or admins are aware of this. You can actually scope Copilot not to look into specific SharePoint sites, right? So that way, if you have a financial information or something really critical stored in a SharePoint site, and that's where you can actually use scoping. And as you touched base on Studio, right, I would always say start with a pilot, because unlike the agent within the agent builder, Studio gives you much more productivity tools, right? Like you can bring in the data connectors, as we said, and then bring in some non 365 applications. So that's where I think you have to be a little bit more controlled in terms of rolling it out. So I would say start with a pilot, a scope who can create agents in Studio, and then see if you can actually remove self access subscription models, right? Wherein we would want admins to roll it out rather than users going and trying it out, right? That's always a controlled way of getting an adoption in place. And then also you have detailed reports of the agents currently, which is built in your organization. You can actually look into from the integrated app section, as Gokul touched base, right? You can actually see the shared agents, declarative, the deployed agents, the integrated agents, and all in the portal now. And you can make a call as an admin, like which one you need to be allowed, which needs to be blocked. And then that's something like I would say an area of improvement, where Microsoft can actually bring in more data into the reports, where as an admin you can see what kind of connectors are being utilized in the agent built in the organization. uh, and then third party connectors are pretty key, right? Similar to your Power Platform, right, where you have different environments created in Power Platform, you would have allowed connectors based on the environment. So a similar model is pretty much required for the Copilot Studio as well. DLP, which is a major topic, right, wherein you can bring in your DLP policies to ensure that the connectors or the platforms that you're creating are as per the policies that you have, which is a good thing with what Microsoft did, I think, a few weeks back, where they have deployed DLP as default on the Studio platform, which means you'll not be able to start publishing agents unless you are properly compliant, right? So it depends on use case by use case. As an administrator, you can actually look into specific use case to see which connector can be published. I think we had a instance recently where we were able to create a Studio agent, and then we were trying to publish it into Teams, and we were not able to do that because the default policy was blocked in DLP, and we had to allow that, right, in order to get it done. So which is pretty much cool, right? Because as an
Yeah.
admin you have an option to make a decision on which connector to be allowed and which not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this
So
has happened in every organization. Even we had a problem where something when we tried to publish it, it was not working, and then we
yeah,
identified the default DLP rollout was the reason, and we have to allow the connector.
that's
Great.
nice. Yeah.
That is quite informative, Ram and Gokul. So, with respect to the governance, right? So, there are a lot of options like the RBAC, DLP, and also granular assessment. So, as you told, to start with the pilot batch, it is important to do a cybersecurity assessment, which Microsoft is offering, because many companies are not aware of the current environment, and these kind of assessments, what they do is they assess and produce them a report which they can easily access and understand the issues that are pertaining. So we need to sort out that first. So we need to start right from the basic, because as I told, many companies, they give access to all the employees and they're not aware of the conditional access policy policies or the privilege access management, which can be done to enhance the security. So with respect to Copilot, yes, Copilot is like within your tenant. So no data is shared outside the tenant. That's what I spoke with. Whenever I speak with a lot of customers, I make sure this point is emphasized, because they have a thing. Okay, Copilot is something we train it. So is Microsoft using our data to train the Copilot outside the organization? No, it is not, because Microsoft follows the compliance standards like ISO, GDPR, HIPAA, so which enhances the Copilot. And people also should be aware of that it can be very well integrated with Microsoft Defender, which helps in threat protection. Because there is a quite question like, what is the difference between a Defender and a Copilot security? So all these things, maybe we should have a different session on Copilot security, so where we can cover in maximum about all these points, because Copilot security itself is a very good topic to speak about. Thank you so much, Gokul and Ram. It was quite informative, where you shared the real-time scenarios. So I believe the even for us and even for people who listen to this podcast, it will be useful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Priya.
Yeah, I think just to add on to what Priya said, right? I think the important one to keep in mind, as well as the enhanced data protection, as she was talking about, which we will cover up in the future podcast, which means the prompts and the responses that you have within Copilot is not outside your tenant; it is actually sitting within your tenant. So, and the assessments, right? It's pretty key. I think most of the organizations are looking for an RAI assessment as well on the use cases that you develop, and security assessments, as you touched base, Priya. I think pretty key to gain some confidence initially within the organization to say, okay, the data governance and compliance security is intact, pretty much covered, right? Whenever you're doing some use cases. Great insights, right? It was great to have you both, Gokul and Priya, and thanks for sharing your insights and valuable experiences, uh, which would be beneficial to most of the admins or the users who are going to start with Copilot journey within their organization. Yeah. I think that's all for today's episode. I think we hope this gives you a solid understanding of what Microsoft 365 Agent Studio and how you can start with some basic governance models and maintain it effectively. Yeah. Any final thoughts, Gokul and Priya?
Nothing, Ram. Pretty much you've covered everything, and thanks for inviting us to the podcast, and hoping to have more in the coming weeks. So thanks, Priya and Ram.
Yeah. Thank you, Gokul and Ram. It was really an effective session, because Copilot, like, we talk Copilot everywhere, but in real time, how it is being used and how it is being utilized is like those points come together only when we talk to each other, right? So, thank you so much, and
Absolutely.
I hope we will have upcoming episodes where we can share our knowledge, and I believe it will be a very good insight for everyone on Copilot as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you both. I mean, pleasure having you both on the session, and we hope we'll connect back in the future episodes. See you. Bye.
Yeah. See
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye bye. Cheers.